Welcome. Are you on? Almost. Now are. Should have asked first, probably. We are live. No. EDC meeting, December 11th. Started a little bit late, but we're good to go. We're going to start off with our invocation and pledge. I know we got 1 and 2 there, but we're going to start off with the invocation pledge. Roger Brooks is going to do our invocation for us. Heidi's going to do our American flag, and Chuck Thompson is going to do our Texas flag. Roger? Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Another thing for John to remind me of the rest of my life. So, this is true. I will also be happily to announce that there will be a home for sale in Grand Oaks Reserve. If anybody would like to put in a bid, we could be out tomorrow.
I don't know which one's better, that one or when you almost walked into the last one we asked you to do. Walked right into that flag to get to talk. Oh my gosh. Okay. To my very, very far left, you're very far right if you're in the audience or on TV, is our newest member, Tanya Clark. And next to her right, is Heidi Souls. And of course, next to her is our our great comedic relief Texas flag, Chuck Thompson, and who is also our treasurer, believe it or not. And then next to him is Emilio Laverio, who is our director of community development. It's only taken a few months to get that down. Next to me is our awesome city secretary. If you see the minutes now compared to how they were, she takes 2 days just to do the minutes from us these days. And then next to her right is our city council member and vice president, Brent McWaters. And then on the end is, of course, as everybody knows, the infamous and famous Mike Buckley. And of course, I am your president, John Williams. Number 3 is going to be the employee recognition of our own Danielle Lewis for her certification at TEX Basic Economic Development course that she did 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So she gets to get her certificate twice, once in city council, and then she gets to get it again with us. Okay, for public comments, any person with EDC related business may speak to the board in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The EDC board may not discuss or vote on any matter raised in public comments unless it is specifically on the agenda. Speakers may address the board after being recognized by the presiding officer. Christy Phillips. Thank you, Christy, very much. We greatly appreciate the introduction. Do we have anything for new business spotlight? I kind of figured we were. And just to let y'all know, Ms. Phillips is who we have signed the contract with for EDC on the purchase of an acquisition of properties.
Okay, hopefully it. I don't know if the batteries are good. So I do want to announce we do have Buzzy Bee. They will be. They're anticipating to open this Friday. They're located at 1830 US 59 here in Cleveland. So that's been a big project that EDC actually was highly involved in. So that's really good to hear that they're at the end of it. They did pick up their certificate of occupancy today, so we're anticipating for them to open this Friday. In connection with that one, we have our next one, which is going to be Louisiana Fried Chicken and Seafood. They will be in the partnering suite C that is located at Buzzy Bee as well. We don't have an anticipated date for them as of yet. We do have that they plans have been approved, permits have been pulled for them, so we're good to go on that one. So yeah, that's going to be exciting to have them. We also do have Wingstop. They're going to be coming into Cleveland, Texas. That is huge. Very exciting, something different for us here in Cleveland. So I'm excited about them because I like wings. So yes, y'all come. I don't know exactly the date of the grand opening. We're still in the early stages, but leases have been signed and we're good to go on that one. And then we have our next item. So this next item is something that I actually was able to get in contact with whenever I went to my certification class. This is something that I think would be really good. I actually met with Victoria on this also, kind of just shot her a quick message when I was in class. I was like, oh my God, we got to do this. So this is something that's for Shop Local. It's really big. There's been different cities within Texas that have, you know, basically partnered with Blue Dot. What's really cool is that it was driven by Walnut Creek's economic development team. They're the ones that kind of partnered up and came up with this Shop Local Rewards program, which is really cool. And so it's a rewards program. What I think is really great about this is that even though we do have to invest some funds into the program for the rewards to come back, no matter what, whenever they redeem these points or they go spend, we're guaranteed guarantee that that money is going to stay within our jurisdiction. So they can, even though if there's a partnering neighboring city who does, have the same program, they can't go redeem those funds or those points at a business over there. They would have to be within our jurisdiction. So even though we would look into, partnering with them and having to make some sort of investments, cities start off making maybe a $5,000 reward program bucket so locals can start using it, but it's also guaranteed that that money's almost like a revolving door, that we're still getting credit for that for our sales tax. So I want to just put this in y'all's ear. I can send y'all further information so y'all could do y'all's research on it. It's just something that I had brought to Emilio as well, and I was like, I think this will be something that's really good for us to look into our next budgeting season, start talking about that when it comes to, springtime. There is a monthly cost to it, but I think it's just something that's going to anticipate people to start shopping local. You can do things where you have initiatives. If it's National Coffee Day, those coffee vendor businesses that are involved with the shop rewards, it's an
So we need to know if we want to put that open, what are you calling this? Open rewards? Blue dot? And I'm guessing you're familiar with it, Victoria? I'm, I'm talking to her. So then when y'all get that figured out, let's go ahead and get it on the agenda, you think, for next month? Everybody good with that? Yep, yep. Bueno, everybody good?
Yeah, Blue Dot is one of the companies that we actually looked at one of our conferences a couple years ago. They have a whole fleet of a suite of different services for municipalities. So they offer, yeah, they do a lot of different stuff.
Well, maybe y'all can, I say y'all, and I apologize for the viewing public. I'm talking to Victoria Good. I know I'm not, I know y'all on TV can't see who I'm talking to, but I was talking to her also, but maybe y'all can kind of figure out a game plan on it and we'll put it on the agenda for next month. Awesome. Thank you, Danielle, very much. And congratulations again on your new certification. We appreciate that for sure. Greater Chamber of Commerce update. Speaking of Victoria Good. I know she's going to give us an update on Cocoa Crawl. I will add real quick on the Cocoa Crawl situation that I've had, at least 10, probably 10 calls, and I've redirected them to Victoria. I had a lady that called me a couple of days ago that wanted to thank the EDC for the cocoa crawl and went on and on and on. And I told her I appreciate her thanking us, but actually, let me give you Victoria Good's number, because she's the one that actually did that, got that put together with the chamber. All we did, and she actually asked how we got involved in it, and I told her, and I want to clarify that. So a couple of months ago, we were at a chamber luncheon, and Victoria, we had done whatever it was that we had done with the chamber previous to that was very successful, and I asked Victoria that if she had something else coming up, please let us know, and she said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And she said, this is what I got going, the cocoa crawl, and this is my idea, and I need some money. And so really, I don't know if you know it or not, but we did a shop local deal with Victoria, with the chamber, a few months back, if y'all remember the shop local deal. And Victoria is kind of the same thing. Hey, we want to put some banners up, that kind of thing. And we made the deal. She was doing all the work. She came up with the idea. She was doing all the work. We just helped her with the money. And so it's kind of the same thing on the cocoa crawl, but obviously the cocoa crawl, I think, exceeded everybody's expectations, I believe. It was just phenomenal. Mike Buckley's commode was talked about everywhere, serving hot chocolate out of a commode. And it was some good hot chocolate. I will admit, that was some really good hot chocolate. You got to be a plumber to come up with those kind of ideas. Yes, homemade hot chocolate. And it was really good hot chocolate. It was really good. Hot chocolate out of a commode. That was not on my bucket list, but it was good. Okay, Victoria.
Hello. I am Victoria Good. I'm with the Greater Cleveland Chamber. And yes, I am here to give y'all a cocoa crawl update or a recap. So I guess we'll do the video after. You want to do the video before or after? Let's do before. Okay. Go for it. That's a terrible little screenshot. World premiere right here. Hi, my name is Victoria Good, and we are at the Downtown Cocoa Crawl. So when we decided to do the Downtown Cocoa Crawl this year, our first thought was to ask Xfinity if they wanted to be our presenting sponsor, and the experience with them has been like amazing. They wanted to bring in so many fun activities, and it has been a hit so far.
We are powering Cleveland together. We are here for the long haul. There are so many great things that we brought here to.
Here we go again.
Between you and Chuck, what are we going to do today?
Hi, my name is Victoria Good, and we are at the Downtown Cocoa Crawl. So when we decided to do the Downtown Cocoa Crawl this year, our first thought was to ask Xfinity if they wanted to be our presenting sponsor, and the experience with them has been like amazing. They wanted to bring in so many fun activities, and it has been a hit so far.
We are powering Cleveland together. We are here for the long haul. There are so many great things that we've brought here to the community today. Amazing games, amazing activities. We have a couple of reindeer that walk by. Santa's here. We are providing hot cocoa and marshmallows. It's just a fabulous time and the best time of the year to do this.
Merry Christmas!
It's been the best. Seeing the kids play, have fun, enjoy. One of my friends even said it's like a Hallmark movie for her.
You can tell this for the community, a lot of families. The kids seem to be enjoying themselves and having a great time. You know, the community's welcoming Xfinity because it's something that's been really needed.
Xfinity is bringing in so many advancements in our community, and so I really think that it's going to be just such a great opportunity for all of our residents.
Xfinity is excellent this year and every year.
It's been such a phenomenal opportunity for us to integrate with this community and to show up as great neighbors. We do a lot of community impact work here, and this is just a continuation of those efforts.
I just want to say thank you to our Xfinity partners and being so willing to support what we're doing. It's really encouraging for us to see businesses that want to do that, to want to get involved, and I just really appreciate that. Yay! So yeah, shout out to Comcast and Xfinity. Emilio actually, when I told him my idea in the very beginning, he was like, "Hey, try to get Xfinity because they're trying to do a lot here." And I asked them, and they were immediately like, "Yes." And so we had a a Zoom call. I don't know what they're called now, but early on, and I said, what does being a presenting sponsor look like to you? And they had all of these ideas already. I'm like, hey, let's go. So it was really encouraging to me to see a business who's coming in just really want to get plugged in and do something like this for the community. And y'all saw it was an amazing night. I know a lot of y'all came, so thank you. But I do want to give a shout out. I said this last night, but I'll give another one to the City of Cleveland, Public Works Department, Police Department, Fire Department, the Civic Center team, of course, Emilio, and of course, y'all, the EDC. Thank y'all so much. Y'all sponsored our prizes for the bingo game. Those were, so I counted, we had 525 bingo cards turned in. Zach estimated that we had over 2,500 people come, and I don't know if anyone else got any estimates, but it was just amazing. And it's like Michelle said, it was like a Hallmark movie, and that was like the best compliment I think I've ever received. But yeah, so I just want to say thank y'all for sponsoring the prizes. We did get pictures of the winners, and I'll post them again. But yeah, they were also appreciative. Actually, two of the winners were kids. One of the little boys, his mom said that he almost didn't turn his card in. He wanted to keep it as a souvenir. And she said, no, you need to turn it in. You might win a prize. And he won one of the prizes. So you should always listen to your mother. But I just wanted to go over a few things. So Emilio and I actually went out before the event, a few weeks before, to let all of the businesses know that we were going to be closing the streets. We wanted to make sure that they were aware of that, let them know when their cars needed to be moved and all that. So we've walked that whole block, the U-shaped block, and then we visited a couple of the other businesses, and that was eye-opening to me. I know he hadn't really visited a lot of those businesses, but I grew up here. I have known those businesses for a long time, but some of them I've never been in. So that was a really great experience, and we kind of talked about how we're going to work on doing that next year, just going out sometimes and going and visiting businesses. But I want to say thank you to Emilio because he helped get us set up. He was putting the street closure signs and the cones out. He helped us break down. At the chamber, it's just me and Courtney, and we do have our amazing board and our amazing ambassadors, which some of them are here tonight. Regina's on our board, and Cece's one of our ambassadors. But most of the time, it's just our husbands that come and set up all the things for us. So it was really nice to get some help from Emilio because both of our husbands were out that night. But 3 years ago, when I started at the chamber, this was one of the ideas that I had. Dayton does a cookie crawl, and it's such a cute idea. And so I was like, one day we're going to do a cocoa crawl, and this year just felt like the year. So it was really cool to see. We had 12 businesses participate in the bingo stops. Several of them were already downtown, but some of them actually came and set up a booth downtown, which goes to show they want to come downtown to an event. We also had, I think, 5 nonprofit booths that offered free activities for the kids. So we had Play for Cade, we had CYBSA, we had Repair the Breach Ministries, we had CISD Teaching and Learning Department, they were there, and I feel like I'm forgetting one of them. And then, of course, I want to thank Comcast Xfinity. They brought in Santa, reindeer, snow machine, their Xfinity pod, which was really cool. They offered hot cocoa, and then, of course, they did that amazing video, and it's been all over Facebook. They boosted it in this area so that more people would see. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but if you go look at the comments on that video, people are like, this is Cleveland, Texas? This is not Cleveland, Texas. And people are like, no, it really is. And so it's kind of funny to see that. So yeah, Cocoa Crawl was a hit. We already have ideas for next year. And yeah, if y'all have any questions on that, let me know.
I just want to thank you. I enjoyed it. Had a good time. My grandkids and my whole family, they had fun. So I just want to thank you for everything y'all did.
Yeah, thank you for participating and for the toilet. Actually, when people were coming to vote, we were saying, "Oh, don't forget to vote for your favorites or whatever," and they were saying, some of them said that was the best hot chocolate out of that toilet.
I know I stress this all the time, but I want to thank the chamber and the board. I just can't say enough. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is how we're supposed to be working together with the chamber and EDC, city council, the city, working together to create these ideas. I joked with Victoria several months ago over one of her others when she said, "Hey, if y'all can come up with some money, I'll do all the work." I was like, "Done, no problem."
Within reason.
I couldn't get on the phone quick enough with Emilio to go, "Hey, while she's offering this, give her a check. We don't have to do any work." But the reality is I know that when I came on as president, I got a little bit of flack for my ideas of the EDC working very closely with the chamber, and here you go. Victoria's been able to prove me right, and we need to keep doing it. And I don't know how we're going to make it even bigger and better next year, because that was pretty phenomenal. It really was. That cocoa crawl was awesome. But I bet we're going to figure it out. I bet Victoria's going to make it bigger and better.
Probably.
So.
Well,
The one
thank
thing
you.
that I'll say, when people see something like that goes over good, and people are enjoying themselves, and for the first year to have that many people show up, more businesses and more people are going to want to be a part of
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
It's a positive thing, and it brings a good light to the city, and I was very proud of it.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I really appreciate that. So I did want to mention two things. I wanted to give a shout out to Citadel Security. They're the ones that have the security camera over by the old Western Auto Building. They actually came. They were one of our support sponsors. They set up that evening, and they provided us. They obviously just wanted to promote their security camera, but they sent me like a time lapse video of the event. So that was really cool, and I'll be posting that. But it was just nice to have them there kind of recording all the things that were going on from setup to breakdown, so we were able to see all of that. And I did just want to say this was the whole point in doing the downtown cocoa crawl. For years, people have wanted, the community has wanted a downtown event again. And we see those comments on Facebook, we hear about it, and it's just like one of those things that one day, okay, we'll do something down there. Well, the businesses really, the girls at the flower shop, Shalene at Lone Star Cleaners, like there were several of them that kind of mentioned, oh, we need to have downtown events. And so they were the ones, they signed up immediately, and they had such a great turnout. Shalene at Lone Star Cleaners said that she said at one point she looked out in her store, which is not huge, said there were probably 100 people in there. The flower shop girls, they were selling stuff all night. I saw people carrying their bags, and I talked to some people that I saw on the street, and they were like, I didn't even know this place was here. That was the whole point, was to get people to come and see what our downtown district is and visit the businesses that you may not visit. And so that right there was proof that this event was a success. And for our businesses, I mean, we went just earlier today to visit some of these businesses, and they're still talking about the flower shop. Said that there were people that came that evening and weren't able to buy things, and they have come back to buy things since Thursday. So that's the whole point in doing all of this. So thank you, and I real quickly want to just invite y'all. Tomorrow is our luncheon. We will have, it's our annual holiday affair luncheon. We have the Royal Braves Jazz Band play, and we have the Cleveland High School Culinary Arts Department cater, so it's always a great event. And then, of course, our annual awards banquet, we are celebrating Cleveland's 90 years all next year, but this will kick it off on January 31st. So I want to invite y'all all to our annual awards banquet. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say enough about it. I know Emilio's got something too. I mean, Cocoa Crawl was such a great success. And I can't wait for the next idea that Victoria's going to come up with. But, I mean, I don't know. I just think that we should expect so much out of her now after this. No pressure, but just saying. Emilio, what you got?
I can't, really, nothing new that hasn't been said, but just want to thank, congratulate Victoria and the Chamber for a great event. And just, glad that we were able to participate and sponsor and help out. And thank Danielle for actually doing all the legwork on going to get the gift cards for the sponsored prizes. And so I think this has been a catalyst for a lot of ideas around downtown. I think chief among those is getting a committee together to actually organize some of the stakeholders downtown and build upon this success and carry that momentum forward. So I'm looking forward to that.
I just think that's awesome that we finally are, working together enough that we're getting these accomplished. One of them told me on the phone, kind of what Victoria had mentioned, that I just can't believe that's like Fredericksburg, Texas. That doesn't even look like Cleveland, Texas. And they were just so excited about it. It's awesome. Again, I can't wait for what we come up with next. It's really, really neat. Anybody else have anything else for Victoria, the Chamber, or anything? Nope, all good. Let's go to 7, reports and comments from board members. Let's start with Mike Buckley.
As usual, I just want to thank the Public Works, the Fire Department, Police Department, Emergency Services, and the city employees for all the hard work they're doing. And then again, thank the Chamber for the work they put in for the event for the Cocoa Crawl. I just want to thank everybody. That's it.
Brent McWaters.
I want to echo everything Mr. Buckley just said. Public Works, y'all knocked it out of the park. Chamber, excellent. But I wanted to add something. Walking around out there, and this is what makes you feel real good. We've kind of touched on it a little bit. The vibe out there was just so positive. Everybody was excited, and I just, with the direction and a lot of things that are happening in the city right now, I just want to say to the public, watching, and those of you here in attendance, there's real easy to get wrapped up in negativity, but we see a lot of positive momentum happening in our city, and I just want to encourage everybody to get on board. This is going to be an exciting time for the city of Cleveland.
Mrs. Clark, you got anything for us, Miss Tanya Clark? Oh, we ain't skipping you. You ain't getting that lucky.
Oh, I just want to say that I'm so excited to be a part of this work. I wasn't able to go to the Cocoa Crawl. We had another obligation with my district, but I am just so excited. My children got an opportunity to go and to be new here in Cleveland and to see the work that you're doing alongside of the EDC just really, really, really makes me excited to see what's to come. So thank you for your work. Thank you for your leadership, and I truly appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Clark. Miss Souls?
I just wanted to give kudos to the Chamber as well. Y'all did a great job with the Cocoa Crawl, and it wasn't only fun for the citizens, and like you said, everybody was really positive, but it was also great for the businesses. And so it was just awesome to see it all come together. Y'all did a fantastic job. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the future as well. We have a lot of stuff coming up, so thank you.
Mr. Chuck Thompson?
We recognized Chief Sean last night and Pam, along with everything that they've got to do with full-time jobs, still managed to wrap up their undergrad degrees this month. I thought that was quite amazing. I know at my advanced age, I sure as heck would not want to take on any more graduate degrees, but yes, I thought that was absolutely wonderful that they were able to get that accomplished. Also wanted to congratulate Mr. Buckley on his choice of hot chocolate dispensers. My family was highly amused. I must tell you, though, my 5-year-old grandson, a little suspicious. He did drink the hot chocolate, but but he was a little suspicious at first. I would also like to commend the EDC board for the forethought of having a realtor here this evening on the night of my major faux pas when I'm probably going to be run out of town on the rail. So I highly commend that. It's excellent timing, excellent timing. And I don't know, based upon what Danielle, she be right behind me. So anyway, outside of that, that's it. Thank you.
I wanted to say one more thing real quick. I wanted to just really drive home and congratulate Danielle on your new certification. That's awesome. Commend you on continuing your education.
And we actually have two realtors. Actually, people probably don't. Everybody knows Regina just from seeing her all the time. But she's actually a realtor here also in Cleveland. She's been a realtor here, from what I understand, a very long time. Oh, were you really? You were with Christy at one time? Oh.
We just don't see each other.
That's funny. Small world. Small world. So me, I want to say, of course, I called him and told him, but I want to say happy birthday, belated birthday to Mr. Mike Buckley. He says he's still young, still feels like he's young, and so we're good to go for a while. Several months ago, we had a board member that, before he was a board member, he came to the city wanting to answer phones and volunteer. Make copies, answer phones, and volunteer. Next thing you know, he's on our EDC board. And because of his background, next thing you know, he is our treasurer. And then from there, it's just went, just gotten crazy for this guy. I mean, he sits on so many boards. I can't even go through the whole list of all the boards he sits on, and he's obviously our treasurer. But now we need to congratulate him because now he is the incoming chair of Leadership East Texas. So he goes from just all I wanted to do was answer phones to no, they don't have to say the pledge.
No, they do not. And I missed a meeting, and I come back to the next one, and all of a sudden I'm chair-elect. So my advice to any of you all is don't miss meetings.
Someone asked him that the other night. What happened? Did you miss a meeting? They said, are you really in the incoming chair of Leadership East Texas? He's like, yeah. What happened? Did you miss a meeting? But I want to say congratulations. He's done a great job on our board, and I'm talking about Chuck Thompson, obviously. And him and I give each other a little hard time because of some things that's happened with us. So every time I get a chance, I'm like, Chuck will do it. And so I've helped him get on some other boards that he probably didn't want to be on. But congratulations, Chuck, on a serious note. And then also with Leadership East Texas, Miss Souls is the new COO of Leadership East Texas. Congratulations. Along with all of her other Citizen of the Year and Lion of the Year and all that stuff. Now she's the COO. Next step. Of course, I've already talked about the Cocoa Crawl. It was just awesome. I want to thank our Public Works Department. I know I do this every time, but Roger, y'all do an awesome job. Everybody knows I'm a pilot. I'm the president of the airport board. Our airport looks better than it's probably ever looked. The flower beds have turned out just like you said they were going to turn out. They look great. The grass is always mowed. We have... every time someone wants to say something, I tell them our rates have not went up. We have all of our grasses mowed all the time. Our airport looks fantastic. And then on top of that, if you have anything go wrong out there with your hangar, it gets fixed immediately. I mean, it's like they don't wait. And if anybody's ever watched anyone try to change a light bulb in a hangar, it's a task. I mean, they have to bring out real equipment to get up that high just to change a light bulb, and good luck if that equipment even reaches. I mean, it's a task. But the doors stop working. Anything and everything, they're out there, Johnny on the spot to fix it. Can't say enough about our, obviously, our police department and fire department who continuously do a great job. And, of course, as Victoria mentioned, those events, the Cocoa Crawl, any of those events that we do, we really rely, obviously, on Public Works a lot to help us get that done. And so, again, Roger, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Danielle, I know that she gets a little bit left out sometimes, but every time we come up with these, or, well, I'm going to blame Victoria, actually. Every time Victoria comes up with these events, and on our end, somebody's got to do the legwork. Somebody with our board has got to do the work. And I know Emilio does a lot of stuff, but Danielle, on the last two events, just on the top of my head, and I know it's been more, at the last minute when we come up with these ideas, she's having to run all over town and get these gift cards. And you got to remember the whole purpose of this with Victoria, with the chamber, also is promoting our businesses. So these gift cards get bought from right here in our city, to where that money goes back to our city. And so Danielle's got to be the one to run around like crazy and get these things bought. And so we really do appreciate that, Danielle, very much. The certificate's paid off already. Just jokes. And then, of course, obviously, Emilio's done an awesome job. I can't thank him enough. I'm sure between him and Victoria, they're going to make us all look really good, and we really appreciate them doing that very much. We do appreciate them making us look good. And, of course, our board, we work together. Communication is the key. I always say that. And our communication with not only the city council, the city manager's office, the mayor, and the chamber, that communication's everything, and it's obviously working. So I just want to thank everybody for that. Anybody else have anything on reports and comments? Nope. Director's report, Emilio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I only have one slide, and then I have some notes here. But we did have a very productive community EDC rebranding meeting with our rebranding committee yesterday. I believe it's already. I can't believe it's just Wednesday, but yes, we met yesterday afternoon, really to focus on the creative direction. We haven't been presented with any iterations of a design or draft a logo or anything, but this was just to say kind of thumbs up and down on, hey, we like this style, we want to explore this style, we like elements of this and not that, but just to kind of help the approach that when we meet next time in January, they'll be presenting some options in black and white, and then we'll be refining them from there. So progress is really coming along great there. Already thinking about getting the consultants from the wayfinding involved with these consultants, because I think that's going to be able to start resuming soon, and hopefully we'll be able to meet again on wayfinding in January, late January or sometime in February. I did want to thank Chuck and Pam for attending the TDC sales tax workshop with myself on November 2nd in Houston near the airport. I think that's going to be something that new board members should definitely consider. So Tanya and maybe Michelle and some others, but I think it'd be good for new board members or even current board members to just run through that at least once. It's just kind of a morning afternoon thing, and it's not too onerous in terms of time commitment, but I think that'll be a good way to supplement some kind of enhancing your knowledge and understanding of EDC and the work that we do. Looking forward to the chamber luncheon tomorrow. I know we're still piloting our OneNote kind of process for that. Hopefully you find that it's not too inconvenient, or it's a little easier to do that. The chamber has that information, and they're able to see that and know who to be expecting at our luncheons, at their luncheon at our tables. So really looking forward to that. Just some other things to note of, we'll be submitting this is just kind of housekeeping, but submitting our EDC report to the comptroller for FY25, and maybe I'll have Chuck look over that for me, but it's really a really simple kind of reporting form that is required by statute that we do that. So we'll get that taken care of. I did want to bring to y'all's attention, yesterday evening at council, we were able to successfully secure the rezoning of all the 3 properties that the EDC owns, or at least three, kind of massings of properties. But the FM 1010 property was Zone 2 General Commercial, and then the two kind of groups of properties out by the airport were zoned to General Industrial. And so, still work to do, obviously, on the Atlas agreement. That is progressing. The Atlas group does have a draft of that. We do owe them some other documents, some other agreements, but they do have kind of the meat and potatoes of that, and they are digesting that, and we hope to hear back from them next week or later this week on Friday. On the consultant selections that we kind of highlighted last month, and I provided that information, again, with the work that Tommy's doing on some of these other agreements, those contracts are kind of slow to be reviewed, but that is hopefully coming later this week or early next week, and we can actually start to get some of that work kicked off. Looking tentatively, February, we'll have our target industry analysis consultant here doing some kind of focus groups and different things like that. Kind of what we did with the rebranding, but obviously focused on different insights. But she'll be coming to EDC meeting for our February meeting, and we'll have some other engagements throughout that week as well. We'll have some more formal updates next week or next month in terms of some of the park improvements that we've talked about and contemplated, and certainly kind of what was behind some of the budget figures that we provided for this current budget year. And so I know that there's been some questions about the library, shade structures, and the benches at Samuel Wiley, and some of the fencing improvements. And so those things aren't forgotten, but we are, there's bids that have to be secured. There's some legwork that has to be done on that, and we are doing that work in the background between everything else. So I think that is it. Happy to answer any questions if y'all have any. That's what I got.
I've got a couple. One I wanted to mention to Wendy, that she works at the library, if y'all know who I'm talking about. She stopped me at the Cocoa Crawl the other night and just wanted to thank us again on the fencing job, and went on and on for a while on how great that fencing job looks. And I have actually went by and looked at it. If you have not went by there and looked at it, y'all should. They did a really good job on it. I know that we're still working, because I know Mike's fixing to ask, we're still working on awnings for the library, and hopefully we'll still stay on that, but I just wanted to talk about that. But I wanted to ask Roger real quick, what the fire hydrants for the pavilion, you remember what I'm talking about? Where are we on, and tell me how that works. Do we need to get, is there such thing as decommissioned fire hydrants? Is that just old ones? What are we needing to get that fencing done over there? And by the way, if you haven't went over there and seen the lighting that Entergy, is that the one that did the lighting over there? Entergy? The lighting over there, it looks great. The lighting, have you seen it? It looks really, really good. But the fire hydrant, is that what we need on the fire hydrants, Roger? Because I believe that's all we're waiting on to get that fencing complete, correct?
And we had a handful, but not enough to complete that perimeter. And so I think it was, the ask is kind of maybe if we would consider purchasing some new ones that are on the list that need to be replaced and updated anyway. And then they would be able to use those decommissioned ones after that.
Danielle?
Yeah, just to touch base on that. So right now, whenever we went to go look at what fire hydrants we have available, we probably have literally maybe 2 or 3. We're going to need way more than that. So an option that was kind of brought up was looking into purchasing some new fire hydrants seen about the possibility of EDC assisting with some funding with that on the new ones and having them swapped out with the ones that are in the city that need to be replaced. So whichever ones in the city that we can replace, we can refurbish them, get them painted newly. We have, local welders that could probably assist with this, having, bring them up the way we need them to be brought up to be able to install them at the pavilion. So that is an option that we did want to look at into possibly doing that. I can probably look into getting that quote as soon as possible, just to see what those numbers look like. So that is an option. I know that we did get one fire hydrant from, is it Union? Is that Union? No, what is that by FM 1010 right across from the airport that? Yes, from there, they had a fire hydrant that was basically abandoned there, so we're gonna get that one, so we're gonna add that to the list of fire hydrants that we can have in our stock to be able to put in, install at the pavilion. It's just right now having fire hydrants on hand that have been abandoned, we don't have those. So that would be the other option, is purchasing brand new ones, the ones in cities that we can, replace with the new ones and refurbishing the old ones.
And does Roger have some money in his budget to pitch in on it, or y'all wanting?
I mean, that's something that we can talk about. We could see what we can do and then kind of just come up to see how EDC can assist with that, with funding, and then seeing if, what other options there are whenever it comes to funding.
So my board members keep asking about this fence. And so if there's a way that we can help facilitate or move this along, I guess, on this fencing project, I know this has been quite some time now, but yeah, that's what we were using. Remember the fire hydrants with the chain between? Yes. The chain link fence is going along the Walgreens, between the Walgreens and the pavilion. San Jacinto side, we're doing the fire hydrants down. Is that, Mike, is that right?
Well, yeah, but I was going to ask, have we checked with any of the other cities that may have some decommissioned ones that they want to get rid of or would sell at a cheap price?
Yeah, I could reach out to the partnering.
Some of the bigger cities, they go through those things regularly. So yeah, I know they'll try to get scrap for them or whatever. But if there's something we can get at a cheaper cost, especially if you don't have any that need to be decommissioned, it'd probably be a cheaper way of going about it.
It is, yeah. What we could do is just look at the partner, our neighboring cities, seeing what they have, and then seeing how many we could collect from them, and then if there's any that we are needing to spend money on, bringing those numbers in front of y'all just to give everybody options of what is available for us. Yeah.
And we might be able to check right around here. I don't know how many Tarkington or, I don't know, you know what I mean? If we.
And I could work with Sean on it too. I can ask our fire chief, Sean, to see if he knows any other chiefs, or, at the other departments, and seeing if maybe they have some or they know the right direction for us to go with on getting some.
I'm game. We want to get that fence done. And then if we can go ahead, I don't think there's a reason for us not to go ahead and do the chain link fence on the backside of it, is there? We're ready for that, aren't we? Yeah. So, yeah, if we could go ahead and get that chain link fence finished up, and then in the meantime anything else on the fencing over there? Everybody good with that? Property zoning. I want to mention Emilio mentioned it real briefly. I just wanted to kind of refresh everybody's more for the viewing public, but our EDC properties, because this has been brought up to me more than once now, Brent and I talked about it again the other day, but the whole reason that we annexed our properties is because in the past, in previous years, we have sold EDC property and never annexed it. And I can't explain why or how, but it happened. And so they have put businesses on those properties, and they weren't annexed. So the city gets nothing off of it. We get no revenue off of them. It's just for whatever reason, the ball was dropped and we didn't annex it. So our idea with the EDC board is that we were going to annex all the EDC property, because obviously we have no idea how long we're going to be around either. That way, in the future, when our EDC properties get sold or whatever we end up doing with them, we don't have that issue, and we're going to make money off of it no matter what. We're going to get some tax revenue off of them. And then on top of that, as Emilio mentioned, last night City Council finished it all up on the rezoning. That went to planning and zoning, I don't know, last week before. And it got approved through planning and zoning, then it went to City Council for final approval last night, and it passed unanimously over there. Same reason. We don't want to annex the property and then allow it to be sold for something it shouldn't be sold for, if that makes sense. So all that was just EDC looking out after the city of Cleveland. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and that's why we did that. Also, I wanted to congratulate Tanya, Chuck, and Michelle. They got appointed to their positions that they were fulfilling other people's terms that didn't complete their terms. And so their terms end this month. And last night, the city council reappointed them. So now they're stuck with us for 2 more years. Chuck? Tanya? One quick note also, Brandon was here earlier. If you haven't gotten with him, Brandon is our IT guy. I was not aware of this until last night, actually, that our emails have changed. So your email said clevelandtexas.com. And it's been changed to cleveland.texas.gov. And as I'm sure y'all are aware, and Brent and I found out today about our trying to check that on our cell phone without the city having access to our cell phones, a whole nother story. So you need to get with Brandon and let him get you set up where your city emails are, where you're getting them and working correctly. I opened mine up when he got mine set up, and to my surprise, there was a lot of emails sitting there waiting for me. Anything else for Emilio? Any questions, concerns, complaints, anything? No complaints? Okay, consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine by EDC board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless the board is requested one of the items to be removed and considered separately. Number 9 is meeting minutes for November 14th, 2024. 10 is monthly financial statement for September 2024 and quarterly investment report for September 2024. I will say that I think we have more thorough meeting minutes in this packet than we probably ever have had. Juanita has done an awesome job picking up where Alice left off, I will say. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I have a second by Mike Buckley. I have a motion by Heidi Souls and a second by Mike Buckley to approve the consent agenda. Any other questions, concerns, anything? None? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Discussion and possible consideration on number 11 is where we're at. Discussion concerning the overhaul of the facade improvement program into the business improvement program, grant program. Emilio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Due to some more emergent kind of priorities and stuff in terms of my plate and responsibilities, it is not something that I had time to sufficiently prepare for y'all's consideration this month. So therefore, I can't provide y'all anything, and I will provide something in January. My apologies.
No problem. Totally understand. Okay, number 12, if you remember, this came up last month, and they are here to present to us for discussion concerning on education, CISD's Education Foundation. We have Regina, and as y'all know Regina and Cynthia Karavic, but they will introduce themselves, all three, please.
Hello, Board. Thank you. I'm Regina Vollmer. I'm the CISD Education Foundation President.
I'm Jennifer Judy. I'm the CISD Education Foundation Board Secretary.
And I'm Cece.
I believe y'all were given the packets for our presentation. We're here seeking support from the EDC. The Cleveland ISD Education Foundation, in collaboration with Cleveland ISD's Career and Technical Education, the CTE programs, invites the Economic Development Corporation, EDC, to invest in the future of our community. Your support can directly empower students to acquire the skills and certifications necessary for success in high-demand careers, aligning with the EDC's mission to foster economic growth and development in Cleveland. The purpose of the request is we're requesting a contribution from the EDC to enhance and expand Cleveland ISD's CTE programs. This contribution will be used to upgrade equipment, which provides students access to industry standard tools and environments, facilitate industry partnerships, which will enable mentorships and internships and apprenticeships opportunities with local businesses, and scholarship opportunities is to reduce the financial barriers for students pursuing specialized certifications or continuing education. And the alignment with the EDC objectives is workforce development, is investing in CTE ensures a steady pipeline of skilled workers for local businesses, addressing the immediate and future needs of Cleveland's economy. Economic growth, a well-trained workforce attracts new industries to Cleveland while retaining existing businesses. Community engagement is supporting education initiatives, fosters goodwill, and strengthens the EDC's ties with the community. The impact of your contribution, a donation to Cleveland's ISD CTE programs will equip 2,000 plus students annually with skills and industries critical to Cleveland's growth, facilitate the creation of partnerships with local businesses for internships and real-world training, increase the number of industry-recognized certifications earned by students by 20% annually, and enhance the employability of Cleveland's youth, reducing unemployment and fostering local economic stability. Cleveland offers 13 career clusters with over 38 programs of study. I'm not going to go over all of them. They're all there, the programs with what each one of them entail that are available for the students. And then we want to thank you for your time and your consideration.
Not yet.
Oh.
The needs across various programs.
Oh, sorry. The needs across the various programs. The biggest need, I believe, is our health science program. We also have the agriculture programs, the construction trades, engineering, robotics, the information technology, and again, another big need is the avionics and electrical systems. Those are some of the ones out of all the programs that's got the biggest needs.
So real quick, I know I've spoke to a couple of people about this, and the concern was the one of the options was to pay for the testing, and I got some little pushback on the testing situation. So I went back and talked to Cynthia about this, and she can correct me if I'm wrong the way I'm explaining this. But so we kind of chose to take that off the board, just to make it a little easier. And in short, they are needing some equipment purchased. for the Education Foundation. And then also, they have scholarships available for the kids. And in short, I think that's kind of where we're at. Correct, Cynthia? And tell us real quick how the scholarships work for these kids and what they're actually for.
So the scholarships are for post-secondary education. Once they pass the certifications and they want to pursue that career that they have worked on since.
Yeah, can you pull that mic up for me? Thank you.
Sorry. If they want to pursue the careers that they have worked on since probably, 8th grade, 9th grade, then these scholarships will help them go to the welding schools or nursing schools, or even if they have to go forward with cosmetology schools or culinaries or anything like that. So it will just help them pay for those colleges.
And what's the process of them getting those scholarships?
Well, obviously they will have to submit an application with any volunteer stuff that they've done, any awards they have been given through Skills USA, anything that they have done with the program. And then, of course, it goes to a committee to vote on it, and then we decide to award them that way.
And Cynthia also made the offer, Cynthia and Regina also made the offer to, if we wanted 1-2 of our boards to sit on that committee, that they extended that to us if we wanted to do that. I'm sure Chuck Thompson's got plenty of time for those committees. And I think in our budget, Emilio, where are you at on this, Emilio?
From a budgetary standpoint, I believe we have about $10,000 of allocated resources in the current adopted budget to go towards this type of workforce development, job training types of. I think that's the kind of the bucket it would fall into in terms of budget categories. That's where that expense would fall, and that's what we have allocated.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Cynthia, the EDC also gave around that a little less than 10,000 in 2016, 17?
It was right around like 9,600, and that actually paid for computers and the nursing stations for our health sciences department. EDC has also provided saw tables for construction and agriculture, and also some culinary equipment as well.
Mike Buckley, you got
I
questions?
was just gonna ask real quick, this program, is it school sponsored or is this independent from the school?
The Education Foundation is independent,
Okay.
501 nonprofit organization ran by volunteers.
Okay. Thank you.
I think Ms. Clark, did you have some questions?
So I have a few questions. How are these programs currently being funded, CC, so that way people can understand how you're currently getting your funding?
So currently, the school district pays for a lot of it, and of course, grants, and then donors.
So then is the thinking right now, is it more for the equipment, or are you focused more on the students getting the scholarships or the help with the paying for testing? What exactly is your focus right now with the money you're seeking? Well, because I'm
Honestly, all of
looking
it.
at.
If I had to say scholarships, to be honest, because in Cleveland, they need scholarships. They need that help. Equipment, obviously, it's going to get them to the point where they can learn and get to the certifications to be able to apply for post-secondary, but once they're there, the scholarships are important to me because that's what's going to bring them into the workforce.
Okay. So when you're thinking about in terms of paying for their assessments, I know some of those tests can be $20 and some of them can be over $200. Are you putting like a limit that we're looking at testing that is above a certain amount, or are you actually going to fund a test that could be $20?
So we're not discussing the paying for the testing. We are going towards scholarships and equipment.
We kind of took that off We
Great,
took that
okay.
off the table
Okay,
on the paying for the testing.
awesome, thank you.
We would love that too, but, you know.
How much money do you have set aside right now for your scholarships?
We do not have any.
No money at all for the scholarships for the kids?
For the last couple of years, the Education Foundation has only been able to concentrate on teacher grants for innovative teaching methods and stuff like that, and that money is raised through our fundraising efforts.
How many students do y'all have currently in these programs?
12,000, over 12,500.
No, enrolled in these programs?
Oh, I don't know. I think there was like, goodness, I'd have to get back on to you. With
Give us a guesstimate?
Yeah,
What'd you say,
1,000,
1,000?
at least 1,000.
About 1,000 students? Will you turn your mic on for me?
Yeah.
Will you turn your mic on for me, Tanya? What'd you say?
I would say there would be at least 1,000. There's about 2,800 kids enrolled in that school. So if you would do maybe three, a half or so, there'd probably be like 1,000 kids enrolled in these programs
I would
at
agree.
various stages, because this program supports them 9th through 12th grade. It's how they start in the CTE pathways.
Right.
Wow.
Just another question too. So do they test out before they go on to are they testing out on certifications for certain areas in these, or are they doing testing to graduate? I'm not really understanding how that program works.
Okay, so with the
break it down a little bit.
13 clusters and all the different program studies, some of them do have licensing certifications that you can get, and they can go right into the workforce with that. Other ones do require more, just like welding. You can get a certification, but to get specialized in certain things and stuff, you have to go to post-secondary trade school.
Okay.
So some of them do. So you can go straight to work with a CNA license or, the basic welding, anything like that. But
And what's the success rate so far with the kids taking these programs as far as passing their certifications to go to the next?
It really varies. So if I'm looking at health sciences, it's about 100% almost. That is on the CTE report that they just gave to the school board recently. I can give you those numbers. I just don't have them with me right now.
No, I'm just curious, just
Yeah.
kind of, because a lot of people listening probably don't know what this program is and how it works and what's required, so that's why
I understand
I'm asking
that.
these questions.
I understand that completely. And there's other ones, there's a few of them that, of the courses that we have that we cannot provide just because there isn't industry in the city of Cleveland to help with that, for on-the-job training and stuff like that. So it just varies, but I could get that information to you guys.
And just to be clear, the scholarships are going to be for the kids that have already graduated their programs and moving on to secondary school.
Right, they would be current seniors this year.
Yes,
Yes.
that's who the scholarships go for.
Correct.
So they've already graduated their, and I do want to clarify, I know that the board, Tanya works for CISD also, and I know the board knows a lot of the answers to this, but our viewing public and people we're responsible to, they don't know the answers. So that's why, like Mike said, that we're asking some of the questions. I have asked all these questions already to Cynthia, but for everybody else that doesn't know is the reason a lot of the times we're asking these questions. So tell us in short, what are you looking for? Are you looking for scholarships or money towards equipment, both?
Honestly, both.
And
we
give
would
me a
have to-
percentage. If you're going to break the percentage down, 50-50, 60-40, 70-30.
I hate it when he asks me that question.
What's
Honestly,
your preference?
What I would like to do, I would like to say 60-40 scholarships, but I want to, once we get and be able to do a full in-depth needs assessment, then we can decide that. But I won't want to say 60-40 scholarships.
60 scholarships, 40 for.
Equipment.
I'd like to say I agree with CC on that because it may change when we look at the needs, because we may need some of the equipment for the kids to get to a point where the scholarship would benefit them.
But you're needing the money dedicated first, but I'm assuming and I hate to assume, so I want to ask, are you allowing us to make the decision on where the money goes, essentially? Yep.
Jennifer says yes.
100% yes, okay. Brent, thoughts?
Well, I think you kind of, your last little statement kind of shed a lot of light. I mean, I think y'all are doing an assessment right now of what equipment is of the greatest need. And I think that's a big piece of information that would help us determine kind of what that amount will be, how that help we can be, because they could come back and realize after they do this assessment, to get to where we want to be to furnish this industry, we need X dollars for this piece of equipment or these three pieces of equipment that could help these three different opportunities. So I think that's a key piece of information that.
Well, and I was going to ask, do we want to, if we're going to do something, do we want to come up with a dollar amount and then just allow Emilio to figure out, I mean, that's what we pay him for. I mean, I hate to be so blunt about it, but that is what he gets the big money for. If we want to just approve a dollar amount and then let Emilio decide if we're doing the money going towards scholarships or equipment and let them come up with the equipment that we need to purchase. I don't know.
I guess my only concern there is just having no idea what that, I mean, I don't know if, quite frankly, I'm not sure if what that dollar amount would be to help them. I mean, we could be putting a number out there that, having a little bit more information, I think, would help us determine what that number even needs to be. Because we could put a placeholder there, yes, but we're probably going to find ourselves right back here discussing another amount down the road if some of these numbers for the equipment to truly help these kids comes back different than what we're thinking.
Well, unless we're going to do a budget amendment, we only have the 10 grand.
And my recommendation would be, while this is well intended, we have a lot of other priorities that we have to fund, and we've already exceeded the estimated revenues that we'll be collecting, so we'd have to dip further into reserves, which will impact our other, initiatives and objectives that we're contemplating as well.
What are you saying? If it's over 10 grand, we would have to, that's all we have budgeted. I'm just making it clear here. For us to go above 10 grand, we do have to do a budget amendment, and just what Emilio was saying is that's going to dip into some other revenues that we already have planned. And I'm just the president. Y'all have to decide, but if we're going to go over 10 grand, we need to.
Just out of curiosity, $10,000, how much would that help out in reality? I mean, I know trade schools can be anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 to go through a program. So if you're paying $2,500, then you've got 4 people that you can basically help out, scholarship wise. And equipment, I know equipment can run anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 or even $2,500, just depending on what you need. So it kind of boils down to, it's going to be minimum amount of help from what we have budgeted already.
Well, CC, explain the scholarships, though, on how much those are.
Just one thing I want to say, though. The assessment would be very informative for us to have before our next budget meeting if we decide to continue to help out, because that's the only way that we can really try to help out and move these kids forward into doing something, being productive, and in helping the economic development in the city and helping these companies that are around here. So, we kind of got our hands tied on this one, the way I feel, on what we can do for this year. But, maybe later down the road, there'd be probably more that I can see that we could do. But having all the assessments done and coming back to us at a later date, because when we have our next budget setting.
That's not for another year.
Yeah, so it would be.
And that's what I'm saying. All we have budgeted this year for this is
That's what I'm saying. When we
10,000.
get ready to set the next year's budget.
Well, in October of next year.
We'd have to have
Well, I can absolutely come back with all that for that one. Just to adjust what you asked, as far as the assessments go, I mean, as far as the needs across the various programs, it literally goes from anywhere from welding helmet or whatever you call them, helmets, gloves, safety goggles, to like actual equipment. And I mean, honestly, they are needing a lean-to right now. That's over $20,000. Obviously, we're not expecting that, but any little bit can help. Scholarships, we have an amazing Gear Up program, and they're constantly helping these kids and having them apply for scholarships and stuff. And so they're going to get other stuff, other scholarships. We're just wanting to help the ones that don't and maybe just need a little bit.
And
of
how much
extra.
are those scholarships that you're talking about to help them with?
And
500?
those are different ones. On our part, anywhere from, $250, $750, $1,000.
250 to $1,000.
Correct. If we can help, I mean, if they just need something for, a cosmetology kit or extra books or even, food whenever they're there, anything like that, anything that we can do to help is what we want to do.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming tonight and advocating for these kids. The Chamber Luncheon always showcases a CTE program, and I mean, I think they're really fantastic. The kids built an airplane, that's crazy. And so I think this is a really great opportunity for the kids of Cleveland, and just thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all for having us. And I do want to add, not to push my luck, but to push my luck, with the CTE program, it is a really big need to have these kids have, to be out in the community and having internships and stuff like that. So I just encourage the EDC and other businesses in Cleveland to create, these internships for these kids to come out. Even when you're talking about this fence and stuff like that, get with our CTE program. They may be able to help.
Well, obviously, education is near and dear to me. The internships, you sort of beat me to the punch, CC. I mean, how many kids do we actually have in internships that would be involved in the city?
Well,
and I'm not talking about the city in general. I'm just talking about the businesses in the city.
so, I mean, just looking at, and we didn't put everything on here because there's a lot of information, but with 38 programs of studies, we have agriculture, food and natural resources, art, audio, video, tech, communications, architecture and construction, business, marketing, and finance, education and training, engineering, health science, human services, which is cosmetology and barbering, hospitality and tourism. We have a great civic center here. Information technology, law and public service, transportation, distribution and logistics, and manufacturing.
The follow-up question is, how aware are the businesses in the city that this is even potentially available to them?
Public works, answering the phones, those are
Okay.
top skills that any of our kids can
Yeah,
benefit from.
I'm just wondering, how many businesses, are aware that perhaps the school system could provide some of these, internship positions. Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah.
One of the problems that we have had with it is transportation. We can get them there, but getting them home is a problem, or getting them back to the school, and we just don't have that type of
Right.
resources.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And I know that John and I joke quite a bit, but yeah, if we need somebody from the board to chime in on things, by all means, count me in. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, any shape, form, or fashion that I can do to help.
And even just going to, speak to the kids, having people from the community come in and talk to them, that helps even too.
Yeah, no.
And if you haven't seen, they've been at the airport, they've been flying.
Just to dovetail on what Heidi said, I'm coming up on 50 years out of high school, and I remember it wasn't even called, CTE programs. It was auto mechanics, shop,
Right.
a few things like that. To see this list and see some of those kids that some of the meetings I've been at where the culinary department has been involved, you know, for lack of a better word and trying to be eloquent here, it absolutely blows my mind that there's this many opportunities available to those kids beyond just general education.
And these kids soak it up. We have
Yeah.
we have a student that's a senior this year that's already a pilot. He works a full-time job and has paid for his own testing stuff.
Yeah.
We have a drone, a licensed drone pilot, and he's has the potential of making really good money. And actually, he's taken the pictures, the aerial pictures of Cleveland that's on our publications and stuff. That's a student.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
done that. So
No.
they have done amazing thing. And our cosmetology department, actually, you can go get your haircut and.
Well, obviously you're speaking to the choir when you're talking about me getting a haircut, but yes, I understand. Maybe John and I can line up and help in some shape, form, or fashion there. But okay, I better beg out of this conversation before I get in too deep already. So thank you.
Well, just
I
out of
would like- go
curiosity.
ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Well, I was going to ask, just out of curiosity, and maybe I didn't hear it, but how many kids are actively in internships for any businesses here in Cleveland?
None.
None? Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We don't have.
So there's nobody off.
Well, actually, I know I work for CSID.
no,
We do have we have a teacher pipeline. And so, although they're not employed in businesses in the community, they do work at Northside. So that is a business and that is an internship. And we have 8 students that actually work at the elementary. They're working as paraprofessionals, working toward their teacher certification.
See, I didn't even know that, but I did think of our Geek Squad, our IT students within CTE. They actually go into the schools. If something breaks down, they're the ones that go out there and fix it. So we're using them, but outside, so yeah, outside the school district.
But I did want to add that I am really thankful for the work that you ladies are doing. This is not typical from my experience where the actual Education Foundation is coming forward to really advocate for CTE. CTE normally has to advocate for themselves. So I am grateful for the fact that you guys are being real creative and you're thinking about how can you support these students and encouraging them to move into the workforce. And so I just want to take this moment to publicly thank you for the creative thinking behind coming forward to the EDC to request support for them. So to each of you, thank you.
Well, and thank you for that too, but I do want to mention that Victoria used to be the president of the Education Foundation, and in looking in the past records and stuff like that, she laid a groundwork for that we're going to be hitting her up for some advice. I'm just saying. For advice. I said advice. Yeah.
Guys have in being able to really advocate for the students because this is very unique to Cleveland.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. President, seeing as how we have this money budgeted for this purpose, I think they definitely have enough in front of them that I make a motion that we do the 10,000.
I'll second it.
Okay, well, hang on a second, Victoria. So I have a motion by Mr. McWaters and a second by Mike Buckley to approve the $10,000. Any caveats with that, or just approve it and let Emilio? You want to do on scholarships? Is there any?
I mean, I think right now they're in their assessment. I think right now to try to,
Perfect.
Emilio can be involved in it, but obviously with the number of kids that they've got involved, with the range of scholarships they've got available to them, I think that it's important to get the most bang for the buck for this money. So I don't necessarily want to put a
I'm good with it.
percentage on it. They know best. They can work with Emilio, but right now, not even knowing what all your
Right.
assessment needs are, we'd kind of be. I don't think we should be putting any caveats on it.
Perfect. I got a motion by Brent and a second by Mike Buckley to approve the $10,000 budgeted to the Education Foundation. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Chuck, you good? Tanya, you good? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, ladies. I do want to hear from Victoria, though, if you don't mind, real quick, Victoria. I know it's a little late now, but I want to hear anyways.
Well, okay, so Heidi kind of already touched on this because I was going to say the Chamber does invite student clubs, CTE student clubs from Cleveland ISD every month to our luncheons, and we give them the opportunity to do a fundraiser. And so we have had, one thing I was going to say is the Cleveland ISD CTE program has a Facebook page. If you go to that Facebook page, you'll be able to see all the things they're doing. So, yes, aviation is a big thing for them right now. Agriculture, mechanics is a thing. Of course, culinary, you'll see them tomorrow. They actually, you can hire them to cater your events. So that's one thing that they're doing. The drones. So JI Drones is actually now JI Media Group. They are a member of the Chamber, and all of the aerial shots that y'all have seen in our office, in our conference room, in our publications, our directory, in the CISD Insider, those were all taken by them. And it's a father and son, like they flew their drone in the ballroom that day, which I think it was last year, but they're doing business here, and they actually do real estate photography and videography, and they're just amazing. They do that here in Cleveland. So there's so many opportunities. It's funny, this started out as Education Foundation, which, yes, I was the president for a few years, but now it's kind of transitioned into the CTE program. But definitely recommend supporting the Education Foundation because I know they mentioned this, but classroom grants, they're giving out grants to teachers, which is a huge thing. But I love that they're now supporting the CTE programs because those are our future. It's our future workforce here. And the Chamber does give out a few scholarships as well. And we always say that we want those kids to go off to college, go to trade school, go to technical school, whatever, and come back and work in Cleveland. That's the whole idea. Like, we want them to come back. We don't have a good way of measuring the mentoring and the interning and all of that right now. And hopefully that's something maybe Emilio and I can work on this next year, is kind of tracking that and getting with the CTE directors and seeing where these kids are interning and what their plan looks like after graduation. Because, yes, as the Chamber, we want to see them succeed as well in our area. I was going to say something else and I don't remember.
Thank you very much. And then also, I'm going to get with Scott because I know that y'all have the aviation program, and I don't know for sure, but having an intern at the airport, maybe that's a possible idea. Working for Dickie out there, that puts. I know that the aviation. In fact, I think Scott's son is in the aviation program, so that might be a good idea to have an internship out there at the airport, and we're excited. Awesome. Anything else?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else for them at all? Nope. Everybody good? 13's discussion concerning communications and marketing position and associated budget amendments. This is going to be a discussion, and just to clarify, in executive session, we will go over this. We'll go over this a little bit more in executive session and go from there. Emilio?
Thank you, Mr. President. As we discussed at last month's meeting, I did, kind of put a primer out there that this would be something that would be bringing to y'all's attention for discussion and consideration. But I just kind of wanted, we sent out the job description or the draft job description with the packet, and so I won't go over that. It's already been, a long evening, but I did want to highlight kind of just give an overview of why we need this and, the kind of thought process and what some of the responsibilities and where this would kind of be incorporated into our work program. But, you're just knowing how this aligns with, our department and the board's objectives and needs concerning marketing and communication. This is going to allow us to enhance our visibility and our reputation. These are things I've talked about and we talk about, but really elevate the profile of Cleveland and the EDC through strategic marketing and communication. It's going to allow us to drive community engagement by promoting our economic assets and benefits of doing business in Cleveland and the opportunities here and the community and things that reasons why people should be in Cleveland. This is going to allow us to strengthen our relationships with businesses and organizations and the media and stakeholders and foster not only economic growth, but I would say community and growth and investment as well. And it's going to enable us to ensure that we have consistent and professional communication and brand identity across all platforms, especially my slideshow presentations where it's all jumbled up right here. But just wanted to talk about kind of the core responsibilities of this role. This position would, kind of help lead our marketing strategy development and how we highlight the regional advantages again, what incentives we offer, the resources for businesses and residents, visitors. John has talked about the need to, be engaged with businesses when they come in for permitting or, doing things proactively that way. At the permit desk, or even definitely more proactive in terms of actually marketing to prospective industries and going straight to them, reaching them where they're at, and really making them aware of Cleveland. Content creation, I know that kind of a big desire is for the EDC to get some social media, some Facebook and LinkedIn, and so not only managing those accounts, but also just producing the content at a reliable and predictable frequency and at a quality that we're going to be proud to have our name behind. And then just kind of for public relation and events, just to have another ambassador that is going to be able to represent the city and the EDC positively and organize some economic development events, that would probably fill some of my place where on these chamber events and working and planning with Victoria and just trying to, expand upon this momentum that we are finding ourselves in. So next slide, please. And so just, this is all kind of being repetitive, but, the benefits of this position is going to allow us to increase our awareness and legitimacy, again, raising the profile of Cleveland, letting people know that we're here as a destination for advancement and development. It's going to, again, allow us to proactively outreach to attract businesses and investors and visitors. Tourism, there's some, shifting dynamics in terms of the city's organization and makeup, and so I think tourism is going to be an area where that's going to be absorbed, and those activities are going to be done by personnel in the community development department in the future and near future. So that's going to be an area of focus where we need to do more work in communications and marketing, and just overall improving our community engagement and really something I enjoy is storytelling as a city planner. But telling compelling stories and leveraging our branding and branded assets effectively, and we know how important that is through the work that we're doing with the rebranding process, and that's going to be take on a whole life of its own once we actually get the brand adopted and implemented, and how we launch that and activate it. And so you can see kind of quickly how all these things are piling up and why this is a critical need kind of at this juncture and going forward. And, that's probably going to end up branching off into a department of its own, quite honestly. We're happy to kind of be the home for it, but also, won't be sad to see that get its own legs and mature into its own kind of line of business of the city as well. And so, I thank y'all for y'all's consideration of this. I think it's gonna. I know it's being couched as a 50-50, kind of position value proposition between the city's funding portion of it and the EDC funding portion of it. But I don't think there's any doubts that this is gonna benefit the economic development activities of the EDC and how we boost economic growth and showcase and make a business investment case for Cleveland and why this is the right place to do business. How we're going to enhance partnerships with existing businesses and stakeholders. We talk about business retention and expansion as a strategy. That marketing is critical to not only those outside the community, but those within, knowing all the kind of opportunities and things that they can take advantage of. And just, I think it's going to be able to position us for, growth and, again, kind of run with this momentum that we find ourselves with. So I think I have another slide. Just want to give a highlight of kind of our current departmental structure. From a division standpoint, a budgetary standpoint, there's the Development Services Division, and then there's the Economic Development Corporation has its own budget. I look at it as all being community development. I find myself at the top, very fortunate to be the Director of Community Development, very fortunate to work with Danielle as our Community Development Manager. We have a wonderful permit technician, Samantha Kopp, who works with us on a daily basis. We have a vacancy of a code enforcement officer right now, and we're working with third parties so that, we're constantly evaluating the need for that, whether that needs to, remain an in-house, position in the future, or if we retool that. And then certainly this marketing and communications coordinator would be a new addition to the family, if you will. So again, I know we'll talk about it more probably in executive session, but I wanted to provide an overview.
Okay, we will, on that point, we'll save those questions for Emilio for the back. I do want to bring up real quick, also real fast before I do that, Scott, did you want to add anything to that at all on the marketing? Nope, kind of covers it. Good. If y'all don't know Scott Swaggart, he's our city manager over there in the gray jacket. Also, I just wanted to tell the board real quick, y'all got this piece of paper, and if y'all get a chance, just kind of look at those numbers on how much our revenue and budget is increasing. I think it is averaging 14% more year to date currently. So we're up close to $1 million. So just want y'all to keep that in mind. Our numbers are always good to look at, even though we got Chuck for that. I'm glad he's good with numbers and not pledges. So, okay, for the formality here, the City of Cleveland Economic Development Corporation reserves the right to adjourn into executive session at any time during the meeting to discuss any item on the agenda as authorized by the Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, consult with an attorney, 551.072, deliberation about real property, 551.073, deliberations about gifts and donations, 551.074, personnel matters, 551.076 is deliberations about security devices, and 551.086 is economic development. It is currently 7:52, and we are going into executive session at 7:52. Everybody ready? Okay, we are back in session, and it is 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, back in session, 10 o'clock. We met in the back. Do I have any motions from the executive session?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget amendment, to approve the communication marketing position and the EDC coordinator position.
I second.
I have a motion from Brent McWaters and a second from Mike Buckley on a motion to approve the budget amendment to approve the communication marketing position and the EDC coordinator position. Any questions, concerns? Anybody have anything? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. I have a